You've worked hard to build a dream retirement. Now it's time to put that plan into action. This is Retire ATL with Aaron Vincent and Matt Decker. The team at Vincent Financial wants to help you build, protect, and grow income to get you to and through retirement. Now, Retire ATL with Aaron Vincent and Matt Decker.
This is the Retire ATL podcast, all powered by the Vincent Financial Group. You can get more when you visit retireatlradio.com. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for downloading. Now, let's get to the show. We are here with CFP Matthew Decker. Also here with CFP and investment advisor, old Poison Ivy himself, Aaron Vincent, talking about the three key pillars: taxes, income, and risk. We invite you to get more at retireatlradio.com or 770-741-0120.
Should we tell folks why you say that, or should we just let them wonder?
No, let's let them just come to their own conclusion.
That sounds good. That sounds fun.
How did you get poison ivy? Not even like on your arms or your legs. You've got it on your forehead.
It's my forehead down to my right eyelid, and I honestly don't know. Yeah,
I thought you got in a fight with a cat the other day.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird that that's the only place I got it. Like you said, usually you would get it on your hands, your arms, or your legs. No, it's just on my face. So
you can't just leave. Like when, how?
I wish I knew. So maybe people don't know this, but we own a farm, and one of my passions is taking this farm. We bought it from like a logging company. I mean, it was raw, beat up, nothing. And over the past few years, we've taken it from that, and we're making it something awesome and beautiful, and using it for hunting and using it for recreation and our kids and all that kind of stuff. Well, and we're doing pretty much all of it ourselves, like our own equipment, our own blood, sweat, and tears, our own tools, and it's great. But sometimes you get poison ivy in your face. So
the risk versus reward.
Yeah.
I get a farm, but I get poison ivy in my arm.
That's right.
All right, there we go. RetireATLRadio.com, 770-741-0120. We've been talking about these educational seminars that you present across the community, and they're complimentary seminars. Always get more information, RetireATLRadio.com. Kind of peeling back the curtain a little bit. Really good conversation about your tax buckets and the conversations you have at these seminars. You can go check that out with the Retire ATL podcast. You can stream it on the homepage at retireatlradio.com. But now, Matt, let's talk about risk. People don't know too much, not enough. What are those conversations like in these educational events?
Well, we got to start it off by just asking, and I pose this question: how much risk should you be taking with your money? And there's a right answer.
The perfect amount.
The perfect amount. What is the perfect amount? What's the perfect amount of risk? A lot of people like to talk about like a risk assessment or a risk profile, and we do that. We use those. But that's not the right answer. The amount of risk that you should be taking with your money is no more than you have to in order to accomplish all your goals. That's the answer.
It's a high likelihood, just from observation and people that we've talked to, that most people who are pre-retirees, retirees, or they're just investing for retirement, their level of risk conversation was like a 10-part questionnaire that basically led you to, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being conservative, 10 being aggressive, where are you? And everyone chooses 5 or 6.
Yeah. And there's 7 options.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
You fit. Hey, congratulations. You fit into one of our 7 portfolios.
Exactly. And
you're number 4.
If you're thinking, oh yeah, I've talked about risk, but it sounded like that, you haven't talked about risk.
We had a guy come into the office. Actually, he didn't come into the office because it was a Zoom call. And he had about $3 million. He's going to retire at the end of this year. And he had almost all of his money in cryptocurrency, like crypto ETFs, so the Bitcoin ETF and some other things. I mean, ultra high risk. It was so risky. It's kind of funny. When he called in to do a portfolio review, and he sent us his portfolio, and he blacked out all of his holdings. And so we called him back and we're like, hey man, thanks for sending in your portfolio. I see here it says, about $3 million, but I don't know what's in it because you blacked it all out. And he's like, yeah, I did that because pretty much everything I own is in crypto. And the last time I told people exactly what I was invested in, I lost like 20%. So now I'm just kind of skittish and I just,
superstitious.
He's like, it's in crypto. I don't know. I just don't want you to know exactly where it is because I'm just worried that like something might happen to it. I'm like, okay.
This is a deeper discussion.
Right. So I went into this just knowing, okay, this is all going to be about risk. Now, you may be hearing this and you may think $3 million is way more than I would ever need. Or you may think $3 million is not enough. It all comes down to what you expect to spend, right? And I didn't know yet. We hadn't had that conversation. So we have the conversation and it goes a little something like, hey, Chris, his name wasn't Chris, but let's just call him Chris.
Hypothetically.
Hypothetical Chris. Hey, hypothetical Chris, what is it that you want to do with retirement? Well, I want to travel. I want to gift some education funds to my grandkids, and I want to, maybe do this over here. Okay, what else do you want to do? I don't know. We like to go out to eat. I like wine. How much do you spend on wine? Oh, I don't know. Maybe $10,000 a year. I'm like, okay.
Right.
What else do you want to do? What else do you want to do? What else do you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Until finally he's like, Matt, I don't want to do anything else. All right. You know what I want to do. I don't have anything else. I'm like, okay, great. So that's all you want to do? Yeah, that's all I want to do. Stop asking me.
That's a lot.
He's like getting upset with me. And I'm like, I just need to make sure because you're invested riskier than anyone that's ever come through our doors. And based on what you're telling me you want to do, you already have enough right now to do all that.
Mm-hmm.
You already have enough right now. And so the question is, back to how we started this conversation, how much risk should you be taking with your money? No more risk than you have to in order to do everything you want to do. For this guy, he had enough money. All he needed to do was out-earn inflation. That's all he needed to do. That's the amount of risk he needed to take. Just need to out-earn inflation, and he can accomplish everything he wants to the point where he was mad at me that I kept asking him. But I knew I needed to keep asking because I saw how he was invested.
Yeah.
And so then we had to make the point that Aaron actually made in the intro to the show. You want to make it now?
Yes, I'll make it right now. When you get to that point, when you've saved most of what you're going to save, most of your saving years are behind you. When you're at that point, losing money hurts you more than making money helps you. In this guy's portfolio, hypothetical Chris, if he loses 20%, which in a straight crypto portfolio, he could lose that.
Lucky.
He could lose that in a day.
Yeah, he's lucky if that's all he loses it goes the wrong way.
Losing 20% of his portfolio hurts him so much more. It's so much of a negative impact, more than a 20% gain would help him in his lifestyle.
In fact, it wouldn't help him at all. Right? It wouldn't help him at all. A 20% gain would not have helped him at all because he was already mad at me for asking, what else do you want to do? He didn't have anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So what does an extra 20% do for him? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. But a 20% loss means we got to start crossing things off the list.
You can't buy wine anymore.
Crossing things off the list.
Sorry, no more wine.
Well, box wine.
So we talk about, we're talking about risk, and we talk about losing money hurts more than making money helps. How much risk should you be taking with your money? No more than you have to in order to accomplish all your goals, all your hopes, and all your dreams, okay? But then at the same time, that's only one of the risks to risk, okay?
Yeah.
That's the greed ditch, where he was struggling with the, I don't want to miss out. I like what I've been doing. I like seeing those big returns. I don't want to miss out. He was struggling with falling into the greed ditch.
Yeah.
And we've talked about the two ditches on the side of the road. Greed is on one side, Aaron. The other side of the road,
fear.
That's right.
Let me ask you something about hypothetical Chris. And in this situation, was it because it was all crypto? Because when I think of risky portfolio, I think crypto because it is opportunities there, some incredible opportunities, but also like he said, he blacked out.
He did.
Because of it's crypto.
It's not that he didn't want us to know. He's just like, I'm superstitious about it.
So if he had been a little more diversified?
I mean, it wouldn't have mattered. He had enough.
Yeah.
He already had enough.
So it's not a crypto conversation.
No, it's not even really a crypto conversation. I mean, it could have been that he was invested in the S&P, and I would have said, hey, great news.
Yeah.
Boring is a blessing. We've said that before. Boring is a blessing. Great news. You actually don't have to take the risk that you're taking in your portfolio. You can get more conservative. Guess what that means? It means the ride is going to be smoother. It means the emotions are going to run cooler. You're still going to be able to do everything you want to do, and you're not going to have to check your portfolio every day.
Right.
Because it's not going to be up and down like you're used to. Doesn't that sound nice? And at the end, he's like, you're totally right. I get it, 100%. It's crazy for me to be invested this way right now. I know now why you kept asking me what I wanted to do, and I'm so glad that you did, because I got to make changes. Like, what am I doing? I got to switch this around. It's worked, and I'm glad that it's worked, and I'm going to take my chips off the table now.
Right.
We say it all the time. What has gotten you here to here, whatever's gotten you to here, is not what's going to get you to there. To assume yesterday's logic to make tomorrow's decisions is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. And so if you find yourself in this situation, if this is an interesting conversation for you, you got to give us a call, 770-741-0120 or retireatlradio.com. But also with this hypothetical Chris, we'll probably, like, realistically, we're going to meet him where he's at. Like, he doesn't want to miss out, and he's thinking there's returns out there. I want to get some. Great. To Matt's point, don't take any more risk than you have to. But this guy's got a big portfolio. Maybe he keeps 10% in this portfolio.
Totally.
It's not like we're like, now all of a sudden you've reached a threshold. Crypto is bad. Get rid of it all right now. No, if you like it and you see opportunity, you've saved your money. It's your money. You're hiring us to be a guide for you, but we're not going to tell you what you have to do, obviously. So you want to keep some money there? Great. But you've made yourself wealthy. Let us help you stay wealthy for the rest of your life. Don't wreck it with this kind of a...
We need a little bit of boring.
Yeah.
Boring is a blessing. Take advantage. If you want to be crazy with a portion. Like that can be fun, right? I get it.
Hypothetically, what Chris didn't know is that boring is a blessing.
That's right. He didn't know. He knows now, and he's grateful for it.
Right.
We pulled off a little piece of the portfolio, and we're like, hey, let's have some fun with some of the money. But we don't need to be crazy with all of it.
The
And he's
biggest
like, I
thing-
get it. Let's do it.
The biggest thing Chris didn't know wasn't how to invest better or how much risk he was taking. The biggest thing that Chris didn't know was that he had done enough. Because it's really hard, especially if you don't have some of the tools that we use and don't have some of the expertise that we have and the experience doing this over and over and over again for all different size portfolios. It's hard to know that you've done enough. And so that's the biggest thing. As you just described in this whole process with him, it didn't take much for him to say, wow, you're right. I got to make changes. So it wasn't like there was some sort of secret. It's just that he had done enough and he didn't know that.
770-741-0120. You don't know what you don't know. That's why I invite you to sit down with the team at the Vincent Financial Group, have this conversation. By the way, Hypothetical Chris, great band coming to the Roxy later this fall. Really looking forward to seeing
I'll be
them.
there.
Let's talk a little income. Let's talk about the conversations you have about income. We're pulling back the curtain this weekend about these educational seminars that you have throughout the community, throughout the year. So when you start this conversation about income, Matt, how did they go?
Well, I thought it went great.
All right, good. Hey, thanks for joining us here this weekend. We'll be
I
back
thought
this
it was
weekend.
so good, man. No one has ever talked about income the way I talked about income.
He's humble, too.
No, it's the income conversation is fun. The reason that I think it's fun is because you can take risk with your money, assuming that you have some dollars protected, right? So we were just talking about Hypothetical Chris and how he basically had no protection. He was just all high risk investing and he'd already done enough. Well, I was at the educational event. I'm talking about income. And I think I mentioned earlier, we had like 4 ladies in the front and all of them had said, hey, I have a pension and I want to talk about it because I have the option. I can either take a lump sum or I can just take the pension payout and I don't know what to do.
Right.
And so, I wrote that on the board and we ended up talking about pensions.
By the way, if that's you listening, good for you. That's so rare. Call us, 770-741-0120 to have a pension and have an option for how you take the pension. That combination of things, I mean, it really is rare.
Right.
What most people don't know is those pension plans, if we just take something that maybe is complicated and try to boil it down, oversimplify it. I'm going to oversimplify it. Those pension plans are simply put annuities. That's what they are. Your pension plan at your employer is an annuity, which is a good thing. And it's also maybe a limited thing, right? Because who got to choose that annuity? Did you choose? No, you didn't choose. The employer chose. Did you get to shop for the best deal? You did not, right? Your pension plan is just like, it is what it is. It's the one plan. And you either take the lump sum or you take the payout. Well, the reason that a lot of people, let me say that differently, the reason that every single person shops the lump sum, not everyone takes it, but every single person who has a pension and who understands this concept, they all take their lump sum buyout option. And what they do is they go out to the annuity marketplace and they say, compete for my money. And if you ask a bunch of companies to compete for your money, are you going to get a better deal or a worse deal? You're going to get a better deal, more than likely.
Or you at least find out that your pension is the best deal, in which case, great.
Correct. Yeah, well, you're going to get the best deal from the people who are competing, right? You're going to find the person that's going to give you the best bang for the buck.
Right.
And then what you can do is you can take that and you can go to your company, your pension plan, and you can say, all right, I went out to the marketplace and I made people compete for my dollars. And they're either going to give me a better deal or a worse deal than my pension. And then you get to make an informed, educated decision. That's what pretty much everybody does that has a lump sum option. They go through that process.
Yeah.
Not everybody takes the lump sum, but a lot of people do because they can get a better deal. So we're talking about income and I'm talking about pensions, and I could just see like the rest of the room that didn't have pensions, they were kind of like not engaged. And I understand why, right? Because if you're somebody who's had to save your own money into a 401k,
That'd be nice.
You
Having a
might,
pension, that'd be
exactly.
nice.
Yeah, you probably feel a way about that, right? Like, gosh, I wish I had a pension. You know, all these people are lucky. And it's like, yeah, that's true. At the same time, again, we're oversimplifying this. That pension is just an annuity. That's what it is. It's an annuity. And every single person with a 401k has the opportunity, if they so choose, to take a portion of their funds and buy their own pension. Mm-hmm. It's called an annuity. What's so interesting, though, is so many people don't want to have that discussion. They don't want to do it. And they're like, why would I ever buy an annuity? And yet they're the same people that say, man, it must be nice to have a pension. And and it's so odd for me to hear that, because I know why they feel that way. Because there's people that talk so negatively about things like annuities, and yet no one talks negatively about pensions. And so you're kind of left in this place of like, well, one's good and one's bad, but really they're the same thing. So that can't be true. But when we're talking about income, what's so cool about income, I went through this exercise where I said, all right, you got $1 million portfolio, no pension, and you don't call the Vincent Financial Group, right? You're not working with us because we had already talked about money in the right buckets. We'd already talked about Roth conversions. I'm like, you're not talking to Vincent Financial Group. How are you going to get your $1 million out? And they're all like, 4% withdrawal rule. Yes. Okay. So you're going to take out $40,000 a year. How are you going to invest that $1 million? And they're like, well, I'm like, how much risk are you going to take? You know, they're like, not much. I'm like, right. You're not going to take too much because that's the money that you're using for income. So you can't be crazy with it.
If your $1 million becomes $800,000, all of a sudden you're 4%.
That's a
it's
problem.
not 40 grand anymore.
Exactly. That's a problem. So what do we got to do? I'm like, we got to at least earn 4%, right? Because you take out 4, you earn 4, you're even.
Sure.
Let's try to earn 6. How about that? And everyone's like, great. That makes total sense. We're going to try to earn 6%. Perfect. So your $1 million over 20 years, you take out 4, you earn 6. Let's not even talk about losses. Your $1 million is going to grow to about 1.5 million in 20 years. And if that's all the work that you had done, you'd be like, I'm a freaking genius. Because I started with $1 million, I took out my 4%, and I got 1.5. I am winning the game. Thanks, Matt. I don't need your information, right? That's what you're thinking. That's what you're thinking. The problem is that is not the way to do it. And so what I did is I illustrated, let's take that same person and let's go buy ourselves a pension. And I just happen to know that for a 62-year-old male, in the example, the amount of money we need to buy a $40,000 pension, right? $1 million, 4%, 40,000. That's what we got to replace. We got to replace 40,000. We need $560,000 to buy a $40,000 pension today. I know that, okay? So 560 gone. How much is our portfolio worth? $440,000 is left. And you think, this is why I don't want to buy a pension, because I had $1 million, now I got 440, I'm losing. Right. But are you losing? Because if you already have your income guaranteed, how much risk can you take with that $440,000?
It's already guaranteed. You can be a little risky.
Exactly. So the whole room's like, well, we can take more risk. I'm like, oh, you can take more risk. That's right. Okay. Well, how much more risk should we take? Let's do this. Let's just remove the bonds, right? So it's like a 60-40 portfolio is the traditional thing. Let's just remove the 40% in bonds. Instead of earning 6, we're not going to double our rate of return. We're not going to do something crazy like earn 12. But what if we just earned 9? Is that reasonable? Like a 3% increase by eliminating the bond component? Is that reasonable? And everyone's like, yeah, that's totally reasonable. All right, we're going to earn 9%. Guess what happens to that $440,000 at a 9% rate of return over 20 years? Guess how much money you have at the end? $2.5 million. You have $2.5 million. So the person that comes into our office and says, why would I ever buy a pension? I'm missing out on the upside. My response is, you're actually losing the upside because you have to be safer with your money than the person who has the pension. And if you would buy the pension, it would free you up to be riskier with the leftover money. And interest, compound interest, Einstein said, is it the eighth wonder?
I think it's the 13th.
The 13th wonder? Yeah, the 24th wonder of the world is compound interest. And our brains, me included, our brains do not have the capability of understanding at a visceral level how quickly compound interest catches up.
Yeah.
We're just talking about the difference between 6 and 9%. And what I'm telling you is it's $1 million difference over 20 years. And you guaranteed your income instead of took risk with your income. And that's why people who do retire with pensions, they are living the good life because they know that they can take risk with their money and they're going to be okay. And if you want to go through this exercise, we can prove it to you. It's super simple. In fact, in the educational event, I actually made everybody pull out their calculators and I made them do the interest calculation. It was fun. They all learned how to do it. It's super simple. I told them it was going to wreck their lives because now they're going to buy that $10 unicorn cup at Starbucks. They're going to be like, in 20 years, that would have been like $400. I'll just have a black coffee. But hey, if you want to go through this conversation with us, you got to call us. It's an easy conversation to have. We'll put you on the right path. You'll know how to make these decisions. 770-741-0120.
Insurance products are offered through the Insurance Business Advanced Planning Group. Vincent Financial Group is an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Advanced Planning Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Advanced Planning Group and IPW are not affiliated companies. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This podcast is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be constructed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. Vincent Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained by sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Vincent Financial Group. This podcast is a paid placement.